situations, there is a lot of things we have learned from this COVID. Actually, in this COVID situations, the patient is nobody want to touch the patient actually. So that's why in this era, the technology play important role actually. So how we can identify the patient and identify the problems of the patients and we can remove them. So now with the help of this technology, now the people are trying to find the solutions. So in this regard, just today's talk is based on that, that is the antenna for biomedical application used for IoT based healthcare. So how remotely we can do this in better way. So now just I will touch some of the portions from these things. So now here in the very basic introduction, the healthcare monitoring system in a hospital, many other health centers have experienced significant growth and portable healthcare monitoring system with emerging technologies are becoming of a great concern to many countries worldwide nowadays. The advent of the Internet Things technology facilities the progress of healthcare from face-to-face consulting to telemedicine. Earlier we said this name is called as telemedicine. So now remotely, now just we provide the medicines and all this. So a smart healthcare system in IoT environment that can be monitor a patient basic health sign as well as the room condition where the patient are now in real time. So that's why these things will be very useful in coming days. Now such type of pandemic is come, just like Corona and all these. So IoT is nothing but linking computer to the internet utilizing sensors and networks. These connected components can be used on the device for health monitoring. Nowadays, modern systems are providing a flexible interface, assistant devices, and mental health management to lead a smart life for the human being. Smart healthcare enable advanced diagnostic instrument to provide advanced treatment for the patient and smart healthcare devices to enhance the quality of healthcare by providing vital sign in the real time. The aim of smart healthcare is to facilitate the patient through the delivery of information regarding medical issues and their solutions. So smart healthcare enable patients to take appropriate measure in case of a critical circumstances because sometimes the patient is far away. So now with the help of this smart technology, now the people can help them actually. So it's enable remote checking service that result in reducing the treatment expenditure and support healthcare providers in broadening their services beyond geographical limits. With the expansion of smart cities, a robust smart healthcare system is required to guarantee the health service to the user. Because nowadays, now your Ajmer and as well as the Kota is also developing as a smart city, so there will be a very good facility of the ITs and all these. So now just we can connect these hospitals and then we can provide the good facilities also. So apart from all being, one of the significant contribution is reducing health expenditure by timely diagnosis. IoT is going to revolutionize healthcare and bring down to the cost of medical devices. So 5G network are going to play a major role in order to enable widespread adoption of IoTs. So now in India, there is people are working on 5G, but in other countries like the US and Australia and all these, now they have a very good network of 5G. So in coming days, we hope within a few months, so now we'll get these facilities also. So in the 5G network, smart healthcare is the one of the most important application. The figure shows the general architecture of the 5G based smart healthcare network and its main entities. So here, this is the basic diagram. Here, this is the data center. So this is the links and transmissions and all these. So now here, this is the general architecture of a smart healthcare network based on the 5G. So everything will be connected. So this is the body area network. So that will be a patient is directly connected to the and this is the ambulance and the ACE controls and the medical care center. So the all will be interconnected to them. So now every time now just we can directly monitor the patients and analyze them, and then we can easily give them treatment. So everything will be connected actually. Basically, we can say that this is a complete automation system basically. So now here with the help of the remotely, now just we are measuring all these things. So in the smart healthcare, IoT can improve several applications, including asset management in the hospital, because this in present situation in corona, there's a large scarcity of the medicines. So now here this asset management in the hospital, so the people have developed the systems where the remdesivir injection is available or not, the online, all these things is available. So now with the help of that, now this is the one of the gray area also. So behavioral changes, monitoring, remote monitoring, treatment compliance, monitoring assistant living, smarter medicines and telemedicines. So these applications will play an important role in a near future medical businesses. In 5G network communication, antenna play an important role. So now here just I will talk the one of the component, that is the antenna, because now this antenna it plays many key innovation to improve 5G coverage and the capacity, because this is a wireless system, and wireless can be happen with the help of the antenna only, because this is the end-to-end communication point actually. So here just RF wireless technology. So here you people already know. So this is the basic antenna, because just like in our handset mobile, so there is a one antenna is there. So same antenna used for the transmitting and receiving. Then there is a switches is there. So sometime it work as a receiver, sometime it work as a transmitter. So now in case of a transmitter, there is a VCU driver, power amplifier, filter, and all these there. And in the receiving side, the signal will be received by the antenna, then pass through a filter, then LNA, then filter, then mixer, and finally we get the our desired input. So a radio frequencies signals refers to a wireless electromagnetic signals used as a form of a communication if one is discussing the wireless electronics. So now before discussing this wireless electronics, all these things are based on the electromagnetic. So now here first we'll know about the some basics. So that is the RF engineering. So RF refers to a radio frequency, the mode of communication for wireless technology of all kinds, including cordless phone, radar, ham radio, GPS, radio and television broadcast. From baby monitor to cell phones, Bluetooth to remote control toy, RF waves all are around us. RF waves are electromagnetic waves, so which propagate at the speed of the light. So radio frequency is the range of the electromagnetic frequency above the audio range and below the infrared. That is from the 10 kilohertz to the 300 gigahertz. So the individual radio components such as mixer, filter, power amplifiers can be classified according to the operating frequency range, because we have to provide the frequency range. If there is a 5G scheme, so they have a certain specifications. So later on I will discuss. So they cannot be strictly categorized by the wireless standards. For example, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and all these, because these devices only provide physical layer supports. In contrast, RF module transceivers include data link layer support for one or more wireless communication protocol. So now here you already know that is the pioneer of electromagnetic is the James Clerk Maxwell in 1865. He has introduced the Maxwell equations. So there is the existence of electromagnetic wave is there, but finally with the help of the experimental demonstration in 1887, the Hertz is generated centimeter waves, and in 1895 our scientist Jesse Bose sir has generated the millimeter wave frequencies. So here we'll discuss the term micro engineering, because this 5G, 4G, everything is comes under this micro frequency range. So the term micro refer to an alternating current signal with frequencies between 300 megahertz and 300 gigahertz with a corresponding electrical wavelength from the 1 meter to a 1 millimeter respectively. Signal with a wavelength in order of the millimeters are called millimeter waves, because now here this 5G, some frequency lies in the millimeter wave band and some frequency lies in the microwave band. So later on we will discuss. So that's why this millimeter and microwave classification is very important to the people actually. So history of the RF and microwaves. So very brief introduction. So in early 1940, there is a beginning of microwave technology, techniques in technology using vacuum tube devices, waveguide and horn antenna. So on that time, there is a very big instrument is there. But 1940 to 1970, there is a development in a waveguide component in tube technology. There is a klystron, magnetron. Nowadays, we are also using the magnetron and all these for the high power transmission. In your home, microwave also, now we use this magnetron. So TWD, rectangular, circular waveguides, coaxial line, horn antenna, parabolic dishes in our rooftop for the for TV and all these. So now you already have at your home also parabolic dishes and road antennas. In mid 1960, there is a beginning of the new era. That is a basic planar transmission line came, just like a PCB structure. So there is a strip line, micro strip line. So later on I will discuss in detail. So micro two terminal solid devices came. So naturally there is a size of the component becomes very small and all these. So 1970 to 1980 there is development of a variety of planar transmission lines, semiconductor devices in a beam lead and chip for three terminal devices, Schottky and FETs and all these, low dielectric substrate, and then we integrate them actually. So such kind of circuit is called the micro integrated circuits, just like your ICs. So now here there is a one of the wireless antenna is the microstrip patch antenna. This is a very small size of the antenna. So naturally there is a big instrument converted into the very small size. So in 1980 to 1990 there is a replacement of a waveguide component with MICs. So development of a variety of a planar antennas and array. Then further the development of MMIC. MMIC means now there is a monolithic micro integrated circuits. So one in case of the MIC, now just we use a dielectric substrate. So this dielectric substrate is replaced by a gallium arsenide substrate. Then it all component can be fabricated in a single chip, and such kind of the chip is called the monolithic micro integrated circuit. So MIC techniques and technology reached the mature stage. So 95 to date, almost all micro components and system are made of the MIC and MMIC. That's why our mobile is very small in size. And 2000 onwards, then there's a development of the MEMS and NAMS components and RF CMOS and all these. So with the help of the MEMS, now there is a device size becomes so small. So that's why in our mobile we have a mic and speaker. So they are made with the MEMS technology. So that's why the size is so small. So here, before proceed to that, we know that is the whole things based on the particular frequency of the operation. So we have a different operations for a extremely low 3 to 30 hertz detection of metal objects. Similarly, 30 to 300 hertz. So in every book of the communication. So now for communication engineer, every communication engineer should know what is the frequency range and what is their applications. So now here that is the low frequencies 300 to 3 kilohertz audio signals on telephone, 3 to 30 kilohertz navigation and position location, 30 to 300 kilohertz weather broadcasting for air navigation, 300 to 3 megahertz for AM. Earlier now just we listen the radios and shortwave broadcasting 33 to 30 megahertz. 30 to 300 megahertz. Nowadays we are using TV, FM, mobile radio, air traffic control, and 300 megahertz to 3 gigahertz TV, radar, microwave oven, mobile phone, and all these. 3 to 30 gigahertz radar, satellite, aircraft navigation. So 30 to 300 gigahertz radar, astronomy, and remote sensing. So now here this is the broader classification. So here that is the once again that is we can classify in further. That is the 30 to 1 gigahertz. This is called the conventional RF. That is the two bands VHF and UHF comes under this conventional RF. From 1 gigahertz to 1000 gigahertz, this is the microwave frequency band. But now the people have again divided into the two band, microwave and millimeter wave. And again this millimeter wave, that is 30 to 1000 gigahertz divided into the two, 30 to 300 gigahertz and 300 to 1000 gigahertz. So here this 5G belongs to this 1 to this microwave and millimeter wave band. So here these are the another some applications and their particular typical frequency is shown here. For AM broadcast 535 to 1605 kilohertz. Similarly FM broadcast. So now in every city in Ajmer, in our Kota, Delhi, whenever you go, that will be frequency will be comes in between the 88 to 108 megahertz, just like a 95 FM and all these. So now their frequency will be within this because they have for a particular system, the FCC has already prescribed a operating frequency. So now you people have to design the devices within this permissible limits only. Similarly, these are TV frequencies, cellular telephone. So now here 2G, 3G, GSM cellular. This is a 880 to 915 megahertz. GPS and there is microwave 2.45 gigahertz. Similarly, that is the DBS, ISM band, your Wi-Fi, WLAN 2.4 to 2.48. This is a WLAN 1 band and this is a second band. So naturally, this is a 5.7 to 5.8 gigahertz. Now there will be speed is very high. So now if you people have a high speed fiber network now, so now just you can see they provide the two bands actually Wi-Fi. So if you operate on this higher band, definitely you will get the high speed because the frequency is high, so speed will be high. This is the recently UWB radio, that is the 3.1 to 10.6 gigahertz. Similarly, there is another classification according to the defense L band, S band, C, KU, UVW, and all these. So now, before designing any device, you people have to know what will be the operating frequencies and what are the specifications for a particular system before proceed to any design. Now, suppose you have to do any designing for telemedicines and all these for the 5G, 4G, using which network and what network. So now you have to know the operating frequencies and all these before proceeding to that. So that's why this is the purpose of the this band designation and all these. So here again the frequency bands classified L, S, and they have particular different applications. So now here these applications are shown here. L band for the mobile satellite service. S is the mobile satellite and deep research. Similarly, C band for 28 gigahertz fixed satellite services. X band is a terrestrial Earth exploration and meteorological services satellite, and KV band broadcast satellite service. So now here all these are the bands, and according to that we have to choose them. So now here comes the question is automatically arise in our mind. So that's why we use this microwave frequency, because nowadays this frequency is very important because our mobile is working on this microwave frequency range, and your all communication, WLAN, Wi-Fi, whatever, all these are the gigahertz frequency. Gigahertz frequency means now there is a general name is the microwave frequencies. So now here we before proceed to that, now we people should know the property of the microwaves. So microwaves are the waves that radiate electromagnetic energy with a shorter wavelength. Microwaves are not reflected by the ionosphere. That's why the satellite link is possible with the help of the microwave only. So now your beam is go straight and reach to the moon and Mangal and all these. So the all space exploration and all these can be happen with the help of this frequency. It means whatever device you design for Mangalyaan, Moonyan, or any purpose, then you have to design the devices in the microwave frequency range. So microwave travel in a straight line. So and are reflected by the conducting surface. A straight line means line of sight communication. So now in every city, now you people have seen the parabolic reflector antenna. So now they directly face to each other. That is the line of sight communication. So the ray is not bended. So every railway station you people have seen there is a station is there, microwave tower is there. So microwave currents can flow. Microwave are easily attenuated within a shorter distances. That's why the frequency is increases. So then we have to require so many antennas to nearby. So that when the 5G came, so now there will be a large number of stations is required in a city actually. So microwave currents can flow through a thin layer of the cable. So this is the property and application. So convenient wavelength for radar application, search, locate, track target, navigation, image, air defense, ship guidance, weather, traffic control, and GPS. Wide bandwidth and line of sight communication. So line of sight I have already explained. So now the rays go in a straight. At wide band means that we are using the 10% bandwidth of the 10 gigahertz. That will be 1000 megahertz. It means now we can transmit the 150 TV channels actually. So if the bandwidth is increases, operating frequency is increases, definitely bandwidth is also increases. Now suppose we are operating on 10 kilohertz, so 10% will be 1 kilohertz. So only 1 kilohertz bandwidth. If we are working on 10 gigahertz and 1% is the 1 gigahertz, so now you can imagine how much huge bandwidth is there. If the bandwidth is higher, then with the help of the Shannon theorem, you already know C is equal to delta F log 1 plus SYN. So NEC is directly proportional to the bandwidth. So if the bandwidth is increases, channel capacity is increases. If channel capacity is increases, then your speed is also increases. That's why these are the frequencies very important nowadays. So molecular resonance of material and substances, remote sensing, meteorology, soil moisture, etc. are domestic and industrial application. Microwave oven we are using in our home also. Dryer, medical application, earth stimulation, hyperthermia, and drug delivery. So here There is a basic RF and micro devices. So you people have already studied in your BTech courses. If not belongs to them, then there is these are the names. So micro devices is two category. One is the active and passive. In active, there is again solid state and vacuum tube devices, because for high power purpose we use the vacuum tube devices, Klystron, TWT, Hybrid T, and Magnetron, and all these. And in the solid state devices, so now there is a name is BJT, APT, HAMT, and gun diode, LSA diode, and INP diode, CDT. Similarly, buried, impaired, traped, and all these, Ruby meshers, and semiconductor laser. So now here these are the solid state devices. In a passive devices, there is a directional coupler, attenuator, phase shifter, antenna, resonators, and all these. So now here these are the devices. Now before suppose you want to design any transmitter, receiver, or any system, then you people have to know about these devices. So how we design the devices with the help of them. So now here the transistor have a particular application, L-band transmitter for telemetry system, and phase radar array radar system, transmitter for communication system. It has just a particular advantage: low cost, low power supply, reliable, high continuous wave power output, lightweight. Transfer electron device, that is your gun diodes and all these, C band and X band and KU band, ECM amplifier for wideband system, X and KU band transmitter for radar system such as traffic control. So low power supply, that is 12 volt is required. So low cost, lightweight, reliable, and low noise and high gain. Impact transmitter for millimeter wave communication. So low power supply, low cost, reliable, high continuous wave power, lightweight. So traped S-band pulse transmitter for a phase array radar system, high peak and average power, reliable low power supply and low cost. Buried is a local oscillator in communication and radar receiver. So low power supply and low cost and low noise and reliable. So now here this is the model of a general communication. So now for any communication we require a transmitter and receiver. In between there is a channel is there, and in case in the channel there is a multipath propagation and the noise is there. So the transmitter, whose primary task is to group the digital data stream into a symbol, to map this symbol onto analog waveforms, then to transmit them to air through an antenna. And the channel, so which represent the effect of traveling through a space, including reflection and distortion as the electromagnetic pulses impinging on the other object. The receiver, which collect the electromagnetic energy from the antenna, takes the extremely weak signal, reconstructs and the pulse shape, and map it to the appropriate symbols, then to the binary bit stream. It means now our signal shape should not be distorted. So that is the one of the best communication, because now suppose we are monitoring the patient ECG, and ECG waveform we are transmitting, so that should not be distorted actually. At the receiving side, so that they can decode as a perfectly ECG and all these waveforms. So that's why the communications should be perfect. So wireless communication, so there is a terrestrial mobile telephony 0.821 gigahertz, GSM global system for mobile communication, PCS personal communication services 0.9 to 2.2 gigahertz, cellular telephone paging and all these, satellite communications based on 1 to 6 gigahertz, 12 to 14 gigahertz, multimedia broadcasting, high-end voice and data communication, wireless LAN, ISM band, that is 0.9 to 0.928 gigahertz, 2.4 to 2.8 gigahertz, and 5.7 to 5.8 gigahertz. So now it can be used for communication between computers, between building and within a building. And now just I am delivering the lecture with the help of this Wi-Fi fiber connection, that is the best on 5.7 to 5.8 gigahertz. So after year of a research and a testing, because nowadays there is a people are talking about the 5G and it's a growing technology. So 5G wireless network are being deployed in the city around the world. So leveraging in millimeter waves. That's why I have given introduction about the microwave and millimeter waves, because now this 5G system belongs to the millimeter wave. When this 5G came, then IoT will be came, and when this IoT will be came, then there will be automation of the healthcare system will be possible in perfect way. So leveraging millimeter wave frequencies well above previously used band, 5G wireless promises rapid speed, wide bandwidths, near real-time latencies, and extremely high capacity. So, however, these high-frequency signals create unique challenge for mobile operators, RF equipment providers, researchers, and RF engineers conducting RF analysis in this field. So, from the early 1G network of 1980s through the 4G LTE network, present time you are using 4G. So here network most of us connect to every day. Each generation of wireless technology boosted performance, functionality and coverage, because now earlier that is in case of 2G only we can send the message. When 3G is come, then video calling is there, and 4G comes, then we have enhanced the speed and all these. So now here the boosted the performance, functionality and coverage. However, while performance and bandwidth is increases with every new standards, so that's why the 5G is belongs to the micros and millimeter waves. So definitely the high operating frequency, so and then speed will be a very high. So every new standard, the frequency of operation of each standard generally remain the same. So mobile network have a typical operated at a band below 6 gigahertz. As a result, equipment used to analyze these signals was designed to capture signal up to the 6 gigahertz as well. So here this is the flow. That is earlier we have a 1G mobile telephony, that is the analog to digital conversion. Then after that 2G mobile telephony, then speed will be kbps change into the mbps, and then 3G mobile data mbps to gbps, and 4G mobile broadband data differentiation, and 5G mobile everything. So now here the best and auto home automations and your IoT and all these will be. So now there will be a revolutionary change when this 5G network will install in our India. So here this is the RF wireless technology. So 5G wireless on this other hand is expected to operate in a different bands depending on the application and performance requirement. So now here this is the 1G. 1G is the 30 kilohertz bandwidth, and in 2G operating frequency is 800 to 1.9 gigahertz. So 200 kilohertz bandwidth. In a WCDMA 3G technology, that is a 5 megahertz bandwidth at 0.0222100. And here this is the 4G LTE system, and now here 5G. So now here this is the 400 to 2000 megahertz. So here that the operating frequency is 500 megahertz to 40 gigahertz. So now this is the 5G technology. So now the low and the mid band signals under 6 gigahertz will continue to be used in rural environment or other applications where the range, penetrability and coverage are the more important than the speed of the bandwidth. So these bandwidths also being important as a mobile operator leverage existing 3G, 4G, LTE infrastructure to build out their 5G network. However, the real 5G experience will be delivered with the network currently operating in the millimeter wave band ranging from 24 to 40 gigahertz. So can you imagine when the system will be operate on 40 gigahertz, then what will be the speed? So now here these high frequency signals will be used in the dense urban environment or the other applications. So low frequency band will be used 5G in a rural area, and in our urban area now we use the high frequency. So definitely we get a good speed. So urban environment or the other application that require increased speed, bandwidth and the capacity. So now here this is the smart city, smart port and AVR and UDS video, home broadcast, factory automation, smart grid, connected vehicle, everything will be connected. So now each and everything will be automated, and that will be controlled in our hand with the help of this 5G technology. So the connected community, this is one of the symbolic diagram is shown here. So now here is smart city, small business, hospitals, shopping centers, schools, safe vehicle driving. So everything will be managed actually, farmhouse. So everything will be connected actually. So now remotely, now we can monitor actually. Now suppose I have one organization in Ajmer, I am sitting in the Kota. So from Kota, I can monitor it live actually, real data, real view. So here this 5G is the 5th generation of mobile network, a significant evolution of a today 4G LTE network. 5G has been designed to meet the very large growth in the data and connectivity of the today's modern society, the Internet of Things with billion of connected devices and tomorrow innovation. So 5G will initially operate in conjunction with the existing 4G network before evolving to fully standalone network in subsequent release and coverage expansions. So in addition to delivering faster connection and the greater capacity, a very important advantage of 5G is the fast response time, referred to as a latency. So this is the one of the important parameters used for this our healthcare system, because we want to analyze the patient in real time actually, and this can be happens with the help of the high speed only. So that's why this 5G scams, then this will be possible. So the latency is the time taken for the device to respond to each other over the wireless network. So 3G network had a typical response time of 100 millisecond. So 4G is around 30 millisecond and 5G only 1 millisecond. So now can you imagine? So now there will be no delay in between the systems. So this is virtually a instantaneous opening up a new world of connected applications. So here this is the connected forms. So this is the diagram is there, smart vehicles and vehicle tracking and all these. Similarly, 5G network architecture, this is a local server, this is central server, and everything is connected. 4G micro, 5G small cells. So here different, so the whole thing will be connected actually. So here this is the 5G architecture when 5G micros and 5G small cells and all are connected to a local server, and this local server is connected to a central server. This is a 5G integration with 4G because 4G is already installed. So now the 4G and 5G will be mixed. So now here this is a 4G control plane and this is a 5G user plane. So now the all will be integrated to each other. So the both network will be work simultaneously actually. So here this is the 5G spectrum. So that is the coverage and capacity. Just we are talking about the village and the urban. So rural and urban. So now where there is we do not require so much speeds and all these. So now just 4G, 5G. So device can be designed 1 to 6 gigahertz. But in an urban area, there's a dense people population is there and a high requirement of that. So now here the people can design the device from 30 gigahertz to 100 gigahertz. So definitely there will be speed will be very high and we can accommodate so many data and all these. So the network speed will be very high. So 5G will use a massive MIMO. MIMO means that is the multiple input, multiple output antenna that have a very large number of antenna element or connection to the send and receive more data simultaneously. So the benefit to the user is that more people can simultaneously connect to the network and maintain high throughput. So when this 5G came, so there will be a big large number of antenna and transmitter will be placed in transmitter receiver will be installed in the cities. So the overall physical size of the 5G massive MIMO antenna will be similar to the 4G. However, with a higher frequencies and individual antenna element size is a smaller, allowing more element in excess of 100 in the same physical cases. The 5G user equipment includes mobile phone and devices will also have a MIMO antenna technology built into the devices for the millimeter wave frequencies. So the overall physical size of the 5G base station antenna is expected to be similar to a 4G base station antenna. So now here just I have given a very brief idea about you, that is what is micros, millimeter waves, and what is the basic healthcare system transmitter receiver. And then again this is another part, that is the internet of things, how we connected. But now all these things is possible only when 5G scams. So the internet of things is about the interconnecting embedded system bringing together with two evolving technology, wireless connectivity and sensors. So now present time we already have this IoT, but it's not a real time actually, because we require a very high speed and all these. But now still we are working on this IoT. So these connected embedded systems are independent microcontroller based computers that use sensors to collect the data. So these IoT systems are a network together usually by the wireless protocols such as Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, 802.11.4 or a custom communication system. So here this is a combination of the computers and the communication engineers, or we can say that is the IT people. So here the network protocol is selected based on the distribution of the nodes and the amount of the data to be collected. So this data is sent over to the network to the main hub or computer. So this main computers collect and analyze the data, storing it in a memory, even making system decision based on the result of the analysis. The crucial to the modern IoT nodes is the need for the security with some form of the data encryption. So the most common being AES 256. So this security is a critical for helping the microcontroller performs a secure boot, ensuring that the core is running, the code is meant to run. So encryption security is also used to encrypt the data transmitted over the network, ensuring that it is viewed only by those systems authorized to the receive the data. So here this is the IoT sensor network block diagram. So here the smart sensor, RFID, opto sensors, video, environmental sensors. So everything is connected actually. So now here this is the AD converters and analog and all these. So here this is controlled by the microcontroller. Then there will be a Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, because we have to communicate to the other. So we can communicate with the help of the Wi-Fi. We can communicate with the Bluetooth. We can communicate with the wireless system 802.1.54, custom wireless, and the wire system also. So it depends. So these are the basic block diagram of this IoT sensor node block diagram. So here, because here this today's discussion is related to a healthcare application. So how this Internet of Things is related to a healthcare application. So here for the diabetes purpose. So now what will be the sensor? Opto-physical sensors will be there. So with the help of this sensor, so now we measure the diabetes patients. So the output of the sensor is connected with the SOB mode to the convert analog signal into the digital. So here this IoT role is 6LoWPAN and the IPv6 architecture protocol enable or wireless sensors to communicate with wireless node that are IP based. Similarly, the diabetes patient injury analysis. So a smartphone camera, if there is any injury, so now there will be camera will be there, and with the help of that, now just we can see the problem. So the segmentations and the decompression of the image, the application uses the smartphone system on a chip to drive IoT. And the another is monitoring of a heartbeat. So capacitive electrodes on a electric circuit. So the transmitted information in the digital chain, which is connected to the wireless transmitter. So here gateway are used to smart devices with the help of the Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. Monitoring of blood pressure. So very smart devices came nowadays, and so things connected to through a IoT. So wearable sensor of a blood pressure, measurement, automatic inflations and oscillometric. The smart devices are connected in a W-band wireless body area network. With the later on I will discuss. So with the help of a gateway, so the temperature of bodies. So I will give an example also. So wearable sensors of the blood pressure, so measurement of a skin-based temperature. Smart devices are connected in a W band with the help of the gateways. System of rehabilitation, so smart home sensor, full range of wearable sensors. So wearable sensor, the people are designing, our students also design these things. So tracking, reporting, detections, coordinations, cooperations, feedback to the system. Heterogeneous WSIM enables sensors to have many access points. So management for medicine. So how we manage this medicines and all this. So wireless biomedical sensor unit, diagnosis and a prognosis of essential record, which are recorded by wearable sensors. So GPS, web access, database access, wireless link, RFIDs, and multimedia transmission. So now I think RFID you people have used in a shopping malls. So the same things will be used for the medicine purpose also. So management of a wheelchair. So W-band sensors, ECG, pressure, accelerometer, wirelessly communicated with a sync node and observe the surroundings. So data center layer and smart devices with the heterogeneous connections. Monitoring of a oxygen saturation. So nowadays, now in Corona, there is a huge oxygen is required. So how we monitoring them? So there will be a oxygen level can be checked with the help of pulse oximeter and the wrist. So because there is a very huge sale in Corona pulse oximeter, I think most of the people have purchased. So now here this is the intelligent, or if this pulse oximeter is connected wirelessly to a directly to a system, then your information will be reached to the doctor also. So intelligent detection of a pulse time by time, pervasive and corporate clinical environment, monitoring of a skin infections and eye disorder, smartphone cameras. So with the help of that, so now the doctor can analyze your eyes and all these and provide the medicine also. So matching of the pattern with the standard image of the library, usually visually inspection. So the cloud aided applications use smartphone system on chip to drive IoT. So cough detection, microphone audio system is installed in a smartphone. So analysis of a recorded spectrogram. So their applications usage in a smartphone system on chip to drive IoTs. So detection of a melanoma, that is a smartphone camera is there. So matching of a suspicious image with a standard image of the library of a cancerous skin. So the application uses smartphone system on chip to drive IoTs. Distance surgery. So now surgical robot sensors, augmented reality sensors, because in the coming days now there will be a surgery robot will be there. So now the robot will do a surgery. So robot arms and the master controller and feedback to the user. So information management and data connectivity in a real time. So there is a requirement and technology trends of 5G based smart healthcare system. So here there is a 5G based smart healthcare network. There is a requirements. We have a certain requirements. These are the enhanced mobile broadband, massive machine type communication, low latency and high reliability communication, wireless region area network. And technology and techniques, we use massive MIMO, multiple input and multiple output, and 3D MIMO, and millimeter wave communications, extremely small cell, ultra dense network, and a heterogeneous network. Device to device communication is there, cognitive radio, artificial intelligence, machine learning is there. It means now you people can imagine how many types of engineers we require actually. One person we require to know how we design the MIMO devices. One person belongs to the millimeter wave communications, and a cognitive radio, artificial intelligence engineer, machine learning engineer. So different engineers. So they will do their work, and when we integrate all these things, then this system will be developed. So here there is a summary of the numerous scenario of a smart healthcare. So M2M wearable, there is a connection of data gathering. So communication technology, NB IoT, interconnected devices. LoRa, that is a sensor applications. Zigbee, data collection. Bluetooth. So there is a required latency is 10 to 700 millisecond, and there is a required data rate is few kilohertz, few kbps to mbps. Digital hospital, communication inside building, Wi-Fi. Already we have 10 to 100 millisecond, few Mbps. Emergency medical services, emergency communication and high-speed reply. So here this is a communication technology we use for that, LTE, LTE Pro, and their latency is 20 to 100 millisecond from 100 megahertz to 3 Gbps. So these are the existing system. But now here this 5G and all these, that will be upcoming. So now the remote surgery, URLLC services between many locations. So when the large number of locations will be there, so now the requirement will be met out by the 5G network only. So here that's the requirement latency. So here you can see that is the 20 to 30 milliseconds only. So few gigahertz data required, and tactile communication. So now here the ultra reliable and the low latency communication, enhanced mobile and broadband. So 5G, 4G, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. So sub milliseconds, and their data requirement is a few Gbps. So combination of the all scenario, because we have to make a combined network. So communication latency and bandwidth applications. So 5G, 4G, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, up to a few milliseconds. That is the latency, because now it should be reduced because we want to see the real online data. So here this required data rate is the few Mbps to a 3 gigahertz. So here these are the certain biomedical applications. So here I will talk, that's the only one component, that is the wireless component, that is the antenna. So now here the how we design the antenna for these biomedical applications, and that will fulfill the requirement of the IoT in healthcare system. So the antenna design are mainly for micro medical diagnosis and the data telemetry system. So earlier we have discussed, now there is a W band and all these. So two types of the antenna were designed. on-body meshed antenna for micro-medical diagnosis, and implantable antenna for data telemetry, because with the help of that we can transmit the signals and all these. So the implantable antenna are used for the data transmission between implanted medical devices and external devices, because some device will be inside the body and some device will be outside the body, and they should communicate to each other also. So the on-body meshed antenna are used to diagnosis applications such as cancer, brain disease, etc. For wireless data transmission of IMD with the external devices, the implantable antenna are located together with the IMDS in the human body and surrounding by the different human tissues depending on the applications. So refer to a skin, fat and muscles and all these. So these antennae are designed to be a mesh to the human body to strongly reduce the reflection at the boundaries of the hair and skin, and the dielectric property of the different human tissues and complex multiple layer human body must be taken into the account. Otherwise, now there will be some mismatch will be there. So now the challenges of the antenna design with regard to the efficient design process are miniaturized, application specific performance, characterization and verification of the antennas. So now here this is one of the beautiful example of the telemedicine for a healthcare system. So this is the patient. So here we have a implantable antenna, on body match antenna. So some antenna is placed outside, some antenna is a sensor basically. So now here some is inside to that. So now here the all things is connected. This is the wireless network. So now here the characterization of human tissues, characterization of body match antennas. So design of a implantable antenna, because we have to design these things, and design of the on-body match antenna and micro imaging. So now here I will teach only one portion. So now the design of the implantable antenna and design of the on-body match antenna. How we design that, and they can be used for the telemedicine for a healthcare system. So telemedicine for a healthcare systems, the biomedical telemetry permit the measurement of a physiological signals at a distance through either wire or wireless communication technology. Physiological signals are obtained by means of appropriate transducer, post-processed and eventually transmitted to the exterior monitoring control equipments. So one of the latest development of a biomedical telemetry is in the field of the implantable medical devices. So biomedical applications using electromagnetic waves require a implantation of a antenna inside the human body. So that is called the implanted antenna. And the implanted devices inside the human body is aimed at collecting the patient information and send it to the base station through a wireless communication. So implantable antenna inside the human body have two types of biomedical applications. So they are biotelemetry and biomedical therapy also. So biotelemetry can be built a wireless communication link between human body and outside environment. And biomedical therapy and diagnosis include treatment of disease and monitoring of various physiological parameters. So these applications reduce the healthcare cost by reducing the hospitalization period of the patient. So now here patient can be put inside the home also, and remotely can be managed. So wireless body area network, earlier just we were talking this term. So wireless body area network is the healthcare monitoring system which uses implantable devices inside the human body. So this system provides a home healthcare monitoring of the patients. The model of a W bench shown in this figure. So now here this is the doctor and this is the patient. So now here we have an implantable device inside this, and they will have a transmitter. So now they transmit the data, and this base station they receive the data, and this data will be collected by a data collecting systems, and that will be reached to a doctor, and definitely now he can monitor the patient. So this is the wireless body area network for a home healthcare monitoring of patient. So implantable antenna for biomedical applications. So now here this is the one system is required, the base station and the channel propagation and the human body. So now here in the human body, now there will be a insulation, implantable antenna. These are the some figure shown here. And electronic power supplies, biosensor and bioactuator. So now these devices is put inside the body also. So various units in wireless body area network system is shown here. So the various units of the WBAN system includes the base station, channel propagation, human bodies, insulation, implantable antenna, electronics and power supply, biosensor and bioactuator. So now with the combination of these, now there will be a WBAN system will be designed. So now here I will discuss some brief about the base station. So base station consists of several subsystems. The subsystems include control modules, receiving system and internet modem. Control module store the information and it drives the entire system with the help of the collected information. So receiver module receive the data using an antenna and send to the data to control module. Internet modem is helpful in interconnecting the modules using wireless data transfer. Another is the channel propagation. So propagation of a electromagnetic wave between the base station and implanted devices need the analysis on scattering and the multipath propagation. So by reducing the above effect, channel efficiency of propagation can be improved. In a human body is a hostile environment for the implanted antenna, and it is highly dispersive, complex, and highly lossy in nature. While realizing the implantable antenna, the surrounding environment characteristics play an important role. Analysis, design, realization, and characterization are the different stages of the implantation. So each stage must consider the human body as the surrounding environment. And another is the insulation. The proper insulation around the implantable device increases its efficiency and avoids any adverse reaction of the living tissues. Proper insulation increases the efficiency almost by 3 times the efficiency without insulation. Otherwise, what happens? That will be because our bodies do not accept any external part actually. So that's why this is very important. So implantable antenna is the key element in a WBAN network. The major objective to choose the radiator are the compactness and the cost and the efficiency. The parameter for the antenna design are radiation efficiency, bandwidth, coupling with the lossy biological tissue, etc. And then another is electronics and power supply, because without that no device will work. So the electronic component of an implantable device allow the functioning of the system, provide the data communication and the signal processing capabilities, and set the working power requirement. The power supply is having the largest volume occupation and set the lifetime of the apparatuses. Several solutions such as energy harvesting, because somewhere there is no power supply, so now just we can take from the solar and with the help of so another devices. So energy harvesting, internal power supplies or wireless power transfers are possible. And the biosensor and bioactuator. So the biosensors and the bioactuators determine the application of an implantable device and its placement in the human body. Monitoring devices, for instance, measuring temperature, pH, glucose, etc., or active system drug delivery apparatus are nowadays being investigated for implantable applications. Characterization and experimentation. So each components consisting the healthcare monitoring system must be characterized to validate its proper functioning and the conformity with the safety and regulatory requirements. So for this purpose, in a vitro, in a vivo, in a animal experiments are necessary step before the application in the human. So here wearable antenna for biomedical applications. So the fast development of a wearable low power devices has been increased the requirement of a solution for a WBAN implementation. So human beings are likely to carry a range of devices and sensor, including medical sensor, and constantly communicate with each other and the outside world, and these are very easy to carry. A key technology to achieve this goal is a wearable electronics and the antenna. So microstrip patch is a well suited for any wearable applications because it can be made conformable for integration into clothing. So with the help of the cloth, now we can design this antenna, microstrip antenna. So that's why a wearable antenna is mainly used for biomedical applications. So here we use the wearable antenna. So body-centric communication system like paramedicines, firefighters, and the military applications are utilized by different specialized occupation segments. So wearable antenna are mainly designed for the wireless body area network. that is for the body parameter measurement. So the wearable antenna can be applied to the all type of the age people, and for athletic for the purpose of monitoring heart rate, blood pressure, fatigue measurement in the other parameters. So wearable antenna is used for IoT applications by using them with the combination of sensors. So now here this is a antenna as a sensor also, and the different sensors. So the all signal will be collected and to transmitted. So now the combination of that and that will be connected to a network. So now this becomes a completely IoT based healthcare monitoring system. So wearable antenna should be a light in weight, so very low cost, almost maintenance free, and with no installation. There should be a comfortable and conformal to the body shape, but they should be highly reliable and efficient. So there are many problems with the application of wearable antenna. The major problem are they should be integrated on a garments, and they increase the comfort of a wearable. So now the people can easily wear. So the antenna should be of a minimum size. So now it's not work as a obstacle for the human body also. So furthermore, it is difficult to keep the antenna flat and operating when the people move. So antenna under different bending and the crumbling conditions should include in the design. So now later on I will show the how the wearable antenna on body antenna will be designed. So the body affects some of the major properties of the antenna, like the mismatch, which is caused by the characteristic impedance of a transmission line, electrical length changes, and continuously increase losses, thus damaging its original operation. So the interaction between the body and wearable antenna should include effect of a antenna on human body, effect of a human body on wearable antenna, and human body induced gain, human body or efficiency, human body effect on impedance. So here the such kind of antenna is tested on a body in real sense environment. So here there should not be effect with that. So here this is a reconfigurable antenna for biomedical applications. So here this is the patient. It has a certain implanted devices and the other devices, and they transmit the signal. So here the rooftop is there. So multipath wireless channel is there, and the incident wave and random polarization. So now the antenna with the polarization reconfigurability. So the all signal will be reached here, and they should not be cancelled to each other. So now here the whole signal will be reached. So we have to design a body-centric wireless communication system. So this is another area. So now here the biomedical applications of antenna. So now here this is the weighing machine is there. So now suppose I want to take my weight, and there will be an antenna, or just like just we have put a transmitter. So now it transmits the signal, reach to here. Then with the help of the network, now it reach to the doctor and the dietitian. So if your weight is increasing, so definitely the dietitian will advise something else, and doctor will also monitor this. Similarly, the pacemakers and all these. So now there is antenna is there. So now it also send the signals, and the whole signal will be reach to a doctor, and the doctor can easily monitor this patient. So now here this is the one of the examples. This is another example. So now here earlier method used to check a blood pressure, but now this is with the help of the Airtel tonometer investigation for blood pressure, so directly transmitted. So here these are the certain applications. So here this is the tissue. Suppose if any bad tissue is there, so this is the transmitting antenna, and then signal is passed through this receiver. So now here we can easily detect the tissue. The tissue dissection that is used for the cancer detection and all these. So later on I will show the actual design of the antenna. The penetration of microwave properties is used here because when this microwave signal is passed through any medium, then it changes this property. So how much changes is there? So according to that, now we can scale them, and we can find out what are the problem associated with the patient. So the biological tissue absorb the microwaves when the antenna transmit a quantity of a microwaves to the tissues. So the ability of a microwave absorption is the different, because the tissue with a high water content will absorb more than a low water content. So this is the basic concept to measure or to diagnose the patient actually. So the rest of the microwave through the tissue will received by another antenna. Compare the quantity of a microwave in a receiver. The different tissue will be determined. So now here the we have I have discussed so many things, but now here just that's a we can say for in case of a IoT and healthcare monitoring system, the antenna is the one of the key elements. So now here just I will discuss how we design the antenna. So before designing the actual antenna that's used for the biomedical, so before proceed that, now we have to know how we design the basic microstrip antenna. So here the microstrip, because some people are not familiar, may not be familiar about microstrip antenna. So what is the microstrip antenna? It consists with the help of the microstrip plus antenna. And what is microstrip? The most popular type of a planar transmission line used to efficiently carry energy between the 2 points. So now here this is the microstrip line, ground, then there is a dielectric substrate is there, then the top there is a conducting layer is there. So a microstrip patch antenna consists of a conducting patch of any planar or non-planar geometry on one of a dielectric substrate with a ground plane on the other side. So microstrip discontinuous can be used to take advantage. So this is the radiating patch, this is a ground plane. Above that there is a substrate is there, this is a feed line, and this is a radiating patch. So this is the microstrip patch antenna. This is the actual fabricated antenna, and this is the geometry of the antenna. So antenna made from the patchage of a conducting material on a dielectric substrate above a ground plane. So dielectric substrate FR4 and all these. So the people are designing the antenna on that. So it has a certain advantage and disadvantage. So what are the advantage? Small size, because we require a small size, low cost and a weight. So easy of installation, does not give a rise to aerodynamic drag used in aircraft. Low profile antennas can be easily mounted to a metallic conductor or other surfaces. No space for feed line required. The feed line can be placed behind the ground plane. The compatible with MMIC design. They allow the use of additional tuning elements like pin or varactor diode between the patch and the ground plane. And it has a certain disadvantage also, that is the low efficiency, small bandwidth, typically few percent, low gain and the low power handling capacity. But these disadvantages can be removed, can be improved with the help of the designing of the different antennas. So now here the shape of the patch antenna is square, circular, elliptical, rectangular, triangular, diamond, dissector, circular ring. So now you can design any kind of the antenna. Generally, this microstrip antenna are a thin metallic patch of a various shapes edged on dielectric substrate on a thickness edge. Usually, is from 0.003 lambda node to 0.05 lambda node. The substrate is usually grounded at the opposite side. So here, this is a beautifully designed explanation is given in your book. That is the CA Balanis, chapter number 14. So now if you want to go in detail, then refer that book and read the chapter. So now here, this is the ground plane. So above ground plane, this is a microstrip patch, and now it has a 4 radiating slot, but they two will be having opposite to each other, so they will cancel to each other, and then there will be a 2 radiating slot 1. So here there is a slot 1 and this is slot 2. So this is the radiating slots actually. And this is the another, that is the prop feed antenna is there. So now from the back side, now just we have to feed the antenna. So this is a dielectric substrate and this is the coaxial connector. So make a hole and the antenna connected to the patch. So the dimension of a patch are usually in the range from lambda naught by 3 to lambda naught by 2. So dielectric constant of a substrate epsilon r is usually in the range from 2.2 to 12. The most common design use relatively thick substrate with lower epsilon r because they provide better efficiency and larger bandwidth. On the other hand, this implies larger dimension of the antenna. The choice of the substrate is very much limited by the microwave circuit coupled to the antenna, which has to be built on the same board. The microwave circuit together with the antenna is usually manufactured by the photo etching technology. So this is the single slot radiator, that is a narrow slot, this is circular ring slot, and this is the wide slot, this is circular patch slot. So the feeding microstrip line is beneath. This is the another microwave traveling wave antenna. So the open end of the long TEM is terminated in a match resistive load. So this is the COM microwave traveling wave antenna. This is meander line and microstrip traveling wave antenna. This is rectangular loop. This is Franklin type. microstrip traveling wave antenna. So now here we can design any type, but now here you people know that is the single antenna cannot transmit much power, and so here we can use a microstrip patch array actually. So here this is the one of the example of the microstrip antenna array. So an antenna have a different feeding methods. So here the this is the microstrip feed, and it has a certain features like a easy to fabricate, simple to match by controlling the insect positions, and relatively a simple to model. However, as the substrate thickness increases, surface waves and space feed radiation is increases. And this is the coaxial probe feed. So now from the bottom side, we make a hole and then we connect to the antenna. So coaxial probe feed, easy to fabricate, low space radiations, difficult to model accurately, narrow bandwidth of a impedance matching, and this is the aperture coupling and this is the proximity coupling. But now here this feed line is direct not connected, they do not directly connected and connected through a coupling only. That's why its name is aperture coupling and proximity coupling. So microstrip line and the radiating patch are on the side of the ground plane, the coupling structure in the ground plane. The low space radiations easy to model, difficult to match, and narrow bandwidth. Similarly, the proximity coupling have a features like a microstrip feed line and radiating patch are on the same side of the ground plane. The largest bandwidth up to 13%, relatively simple to model, and have has a low space radiations. So these are the more example of a microstrip coaxial probe feed. So we have a different microstrip fed microstrip antenna. This is the off center. So we have a different shape. Similarly, this is the profit example. So that is the center feed microstrip patch antenna. This is off center. This is the arbitrary feed. So depends on the design, how we design the antenna and what type of the requirement is there. So according to that, now just we people do the work. So criteria for a substrate selection, because large number of substrates are available in the market. So according to the our operating frequencies and the requirements, suppose I want to design a antenna for a body. So now there will be antenna should be a substrate should be a flexible and very thin. So different requirement actually. So according to that, we have to choose the substrate. So possibility of a surface wave excitation, effect of a dispersion on dielectric constant in low tangent of the substrate, magnitude of a copper and dielectric loss, anisotropy in the substrate, effects of a temperature, humidity and aging, mechanical requirement, there is a conformability, machinability, solderability, weight, elasticity, etc. And finally the cost. The cost should be very small, otherwise nobody can manage, because sometimes the people design antenna without procuring the material, and then when go for the material procurement their cost becomes unbearable, so finally they have to change the design. So it's my advice, before proceed to design any system, first you people have to procure the material, and then according to your material you have to go for the designing actually. This is the suspended patch antenna, because the microstrip patch antenna have a limitation of a bandwidth. So by introducing this air gap below this substrate, so now here suspended patch. So with the help of that, now just we can increase the percentage bandwidth and the other. So this is the structure of the rectangular suspended microstrip patch. So now we introduce the air gap between the ground plane and the substrate. So what are the advantage of that? So very low conductor loss because of introduction of a air gap, provide flexibility to tune the resonant frequency of the antenna by varying the air gap, offers increased bandwidth as a result of a increase in the height of dielectric region below the patch and the lower effective permittivity. An application in airborne systems such as aircraft, missile, rocket, satellite, in a communication system for direct broadcast satellite reception and data transmission, as a radar altimeter antenna for communication between satellite mobile vehicle in satellite imaging system, in a electronic warfare and smart weapon system, modern GPS in a biomedical instrumentation. So here these are the certain design equations and steps. So all these equations are given in your book C.A. Balanis in chapter number 14. So this material is taken from that. So now here to proceed the design any antenna, there is a specification is the design frequencies, substrate thickness, substrate, dielectric constant of the substrate and size of the substrate. So now here, this is the structure. So first you have to calculate the width. So width can be calculated with the help of this formula, and length can be calculated with the help of this. So L is equal to 1 upon 2 FR epsilon R effective mu 0 epsilon 0 minus 2 delta L. And what is this delta L? Delta L is nothing but actually, in earlier I have discussed, there is a two slots. One slot is here, another radiating slot is here. So now here there is a certain fringing effect. So now due to the fringing effect, so now the electrical length is increases. So now here we have to make a certain correction. So now here the delta L length we have to reduce from this side, delta L from this side. So now there will be a correction of a minus 2 delta L. And now this delta L can be calculated with the help of this formula. So delta L upon H is equal to 0.412 epsilon R effective plus 0.3 WH plus 0.264 divided by epsilon R effective minus 0.258 WH plus 0.8. And this epsilon R effective can be calculated. Epsilon R effective is equal to epsilon R plus 1 by 2 plus epsilon R minus 1 by 2, 1 plus 12 H upon W power minus half. Because why this effective? Because now the some electric and magnetic field pass through air and the dielectric, two different medium. So now here the epsilon R effective can be calculated by this formula, and this epsilon R will be put here. Then you calculate the delta A, and then you put here. And then finally you will get the L. And L W can be calculated with the help of this. And then next point is cam, and then this is our feed line. Now suppose our feed line is 50 ohm. So we have to calculate the input impedance. If the input impedance of antenna is 200, here is a 50. So now what will be the ZTR? ZTR is the square root of a Z naught into Z in, because here quarter wave matching transformer VR is. So now the length is lambda by 4. So now this Z in and all these can be calculated, width and all these. But nowadays life is so easy. So now with the help of the software, we can CAD simulation softwares, we can easily calculate the width and all these. If you do not have, when I was doing my MTech on that time, there is no simulation software. So with the help of this formula, we have to calculate the how we find out the W1, because we know the Z naught. So now just we calculate the end B and then put here, and then out of the substrate we know. So now we can easily calculate the W1. The same formula I use for here also. So here the matching transformer, the formula ZTR is the square root of Z in into Z naught. So it means with the help of this, now we know the all dimensions. What is the length and width and all these. So once you know the length and width and all these, then you go for fabrication. But nowadays there is a CAD simulation software is there, because earlier what happened actually? When I was doing the MTechs on that time, just we designed the antenna with the help of the pen and pencil and calculators. And finally, we directly go for fabrication. So now suppose I have designed the antenna on 10 gigahertz. But it never work on 10 gigahertz. Sometimes it work on 9.99, sometimes it work on 10.02. So now here we have to again optimize, reiterate, slightly changes in the length and width, and again go for fabrication. So large number of the material is wasted actually. But later on, nowadays, now we have a very beautiful software that is a CST, HFSS, and there are so many more. So now here with the help of these dimensions, so now just we put into the simulation softwares, CAD simulation softwares, and then we optimize them, and then we go for fabrication. So there is a very small error is came, and our material will be less wastage. So now let's say for a design example purpose, so now design frequency is 10 gigahertz, substrate thickness 0.762 mm, that is 30 mil. Dielectric constant of a substrate is 3.2. So with the help of these formulas, so now just we have calculated. Length is km 8.2, width is 10.93, and W1 is this, WTR this. It means we know the all dimensions. So with the help of these dimensions, we go for the simulations, because nowadays most of the institute already have a simulation facility also. So in our syllabus, we have also introduced a lab, RF simulation lab. So the most of the college already purchased the softwares. So here, these are the name of the commercially available tools, that is HFSS, Momentum, Sonnet, CST, Microstripe, i3D, and Soft Designer, and many more. So now here how we simulate these structure, because we already know the dimensions and all these. So first we have to define the structure. then define the ports, then define material, FR4 and all these, what type of material we are using, then define units and frequency band, then define boundary conditions, and set the output parameters. So what will be the output measuring parameters for the antenna? That is the far field, surface current, E field, H field, return loss, on many more. Depends on the requirement. So now here, this is the earlier I have shown this structure. The same structure we have created in a simulation window. So now here, this is the simulation window. So the same structure we have drawn here, and then we simulate them. So these are the simulation results are shown here. This is the return loss. This is the S parameter phase. These are the 3D radiation pattern. This is the 2D radiation pattern. So now whatever parameters we set in the output, so now just we can see them. If our simulation result is okay, then we'll go for fabrication. So now here, before that, so now here just I will discuss some simulation results. So now here the quasi-TEM mode, line impedance is 50 ohm because our measuring instrument have already a 50 ohm system. So now here, this is the inside feed microstrip. So here the most of the information you get from this software also, what is the line impedance, wave impedance, because this 277 that is a 125 free space impedance. If this will not same, then antenna will not radiate. So now here most of the information you can easily get. So now here, this is the return loss. So to design any good antenna, so return loss should be a -10, -20. So whichever is more, so then we can say now it is a good. But minimum requirement is -10 dB actually. The radiation pattern, so this is the E plane and S plane. So now with the help of that, we can calculate the major lobe direction angular width, that is a 3 dB. This blue line shows the here side lane lobe. So now here, this is a radiation pattern. So different radiation patterns can be seen in the simulation window. If our simulation is okay, then we go for fabrication. So now this fabrication can be done with the help of the two technology. That is the one is the dry technology, another is the wet technology. So now here, in case of a chemical technology, now just we use a photolithography process. Otherwise, nowadays, now we have a directly PCB fabrication machine. In your Ajmer also, you people already have a fabrication machine. In our RTU, we have also procure the fabrication machine. So once we feed the data, and directly you will get your structure. So here, this is but it is not so accurate actually. Chemical photolithography is a more accurate. So for that purpose, they make the drawing in the AutoCAD or any other available software, make the mask using available sources, print the antenna using well-known photolithography techniques. So this is the actual fabricated antenna, and then we have connected connector, and then we measure that. So here, this is the inside feed microstrip antenna. This is the actual antenna. This is simulated, and then we fabricate. Then after that, now we have to characterize. So for characterization purpose, we require a NQ chambers and your other instruments. That's a network analyzer to measure the return loss and all these. So return loss measurement can be done with the help of this network analyzer. So in our institute, our university also have a 20 gigahertz network analyzer, NQ chamber up to 40 gigahertz, and in Ajmer also, you people already have a facilities. So with the help of that, now return loss measurement can be done, radiation pattern measurement, then gain measurement can be done. So now here, these are the results. So this is a 2D graph, and this is the return loss measurement. So parameter measurement, so magnitude of a reflection coefficient is measured on automatic network analyzer for proper input impedance matching. So here, this is the plot of a S11 versus frequency for a rectangular microstrip antenna. So some people may not be familiar. So now here, what is the radiation pattern? A mathematical function of a graphical representation of a radiation properties of the antenna as a function of a space coordinates. So here, this is the radiation pattern. So antenna field regions, because we have 3 fields: reactive near field, radiating near field, then radiating far field. So most of the antenna is placed in the far field, and therefore this far field, how we decide that? So that can be decided with the help of the this formula, that is 2d square by lambda. So in the far field of an antenna, the radiating field can be treated as a local plane waves emerging from an imaginary phase center Advantage of a plane wave treatment. So there is exist only transversal field component. E and H are the orthogonal to each other and in phase. So here this is a free space impedance and radiation pattern, radiation impedance. So radiation pattern is the graphical representation of a radiation properties of an antenna depicted as a two-dimensional cross section. And the beam width is a half power beam width, the measure of a directivity of antenna. Reception pattern, so that is a receiving antenna equivalent to a radiation patterns. So this is the radiation pattern formula, the far field for a undisturbed page antenna. So earlier we people are calculated E plane and H plane theoretically radiation pattern with the help of this formula. So can you imagine how difficult is this? But nowadays, now life is so simple with the help of the MATLAB and the directly simulation software. Now you people get the results, simulated data. So where E and H refers to the elevation and horizontal planes for a linearly polarized page antenna. So antenna radiation patterns. So this is a back lobe, this is a main lobe, this is the beam width. So this is a horizontal and vertical, E plane and H plane. Antenna gain, the power output in a particular direction compared to that produced in any direction by perfect omnidirectional antenna. Effective area that is related to the physical size and shape of the antenna. So now here the antenna type selection, how we select the antenna actually. What is the application? Depends on the applications. So easy of integration with the feed network, single resonance or multi-resonance, narrow or wideband, for example, WB applications. So according to that, we have to choose that. Low frequency versus high frequency, available technology, what type of technology is available for fabrication and all these. Integration level, cost, size, performance, and power levels, reconfigurable applications. So now here I will discuss the design and development of a configurable and reconfigurable UWB antenna for wearable application. Because here we are talking about the healthcare system. So wearable antenna, we have just I give idea. So how we design them actually. So here introduction. So miniaturization of communication devices leading to a wear them. So body on equipment are used for the health monitoring also. So communication which involves body as a communication media is divided into the three categories of body communication, on body communication, in body communication. The performance of a body home antenna with a variation of a body proximity and orientation is required to be studied. So body centric ultra wideband communication is a promising area for the research. It demands for a high data rate connectivity with minimum power consumption. Ultra wideband technology is a wireless transmission technique targeted particularly for a short range and low power radio communication system, ideal for a portable multimedia devices because of its inherent low power consumption and high data rate. So here the UWB spectrum, because before proceed that you people should know its a spectrum belongs from 3.1 to 10.6 gigahertz and it interferes the signals. So sometimes we have to avoid them. So allow UWB technology to coexist with the existing radio receiver without causing interference. That's why the report and order they have put a certain limit. So part 15 give a limit. The rules are designed to ensure the existing and planned radio services and particular safety service are protected. FCC limit ensure that UWB emission levels are exceedingly small. The part 15 limits equal to minus 41.25 dBm per megahertz. So this is the limit actually. You cannot go beyond this emission. So for comparison, PSD limit for 2.4 GSM, 2.4 gigahertz, ISM and 5 gigahertz bands are 40 plus dB higher per megahertz. So UWB challenges, usage large bandwidth should not cause interference to the other identities in the spectrum, implies limit on the transmit power to be legal. Receiver challenges, receiver designed to acquire data and noise, wide RF bandwidth implementation, in-band interference, global standardization, broadband antenna. So the UWB antenna with a compact size, wide impedance bandwidth and simple structure, omnidirectional and radiation pattern. So now here that is a summary of preliminary report and order limits. So for imaging purpose 3.1 to 10.6 gigahertz. Through wall and surveillance, 1.99 to 10.6 gigahertz. For communication indoor and outdoor, that is 3.1 to 10.6 gigahertz. For vehicular, 24 to 29 gigahertz. So requirement of in a UWB antenna design. So ultra wideband bandwidth where most of the energy of the sources pulse is concentrated, because this is a pulse transmission. Steady with a frequency, directional or omnidirectional radiation pattern. Constant gain we require. Constant group delay of a linear phase. So constant polarization, impedance matching, efficiency are secondary. We deliberately try to radiate below noise level in UWB. So now when you proceed for design any antenna for any system, you should know what are the requirement, what are the specifications, and what are the limit. So keep these things in mind, and then you have to proceed for the design. So here we have designed the hexagonal UWB microstrip antenna. So this is the hexagonal shape of the UWB antenna. This is actually fabricated. So if you people want to go in detail, so the paper is available online. So now just this published in IT Journal of Research in India. So now just you download this paper and go in detail also. So here this is the frequency domain characterization measured in simulated regions. The result is there. This is the group delay, because in UWB antenna the group delay is one of the important feature of the antenna, because this is using the frequency from 3.1 to 10.6 gigahertz. So now here this is the frequency domain characterization, H plane radiation pattern and E plane radiation pattern in N-Cube chamber. So the measurement setup for radiation pattern in Cube chamber, and these are the E plane and H plane radiation pattern, and their comparison with the measurement and the simulation is shown here for the different frequencies. Similarly, the time domain characterization, because here my task is, because I want to see the real data. So now here the input is your pulse, pulse strain. So according to that, so this is the just initially I have designed the UWB pulse generator circuit and then connected to a transmitting antenna, and the same antenna used for the receiving purpose. So now here this is the purple color inverted transmitted input given to the UWB pulse generator circuit, and now it generates the pulses. At the receiving side, now we receive the UWB pulse. So here this is the zoomed view of the pulse, and now this pulse spectrum is shown here also. So here this is you can see beautifully. Now this is the received pulse. This is your input transmitter, that is your pulse transmission, and now this is the spectrum. But now here this spectrum do not belong 3.1 to 10.6 gigahertz. We are not utilized fully. So now this drawback can be improved by the design of the another antenna actually. So design of a transmission line fed stepped match UWB antenna. So this is another front and the back view of the UWB antenna. This is the front view. This is the back side. So an FR4 substrate is used with a thickness of 0.8 and dielectric constant of 4.4 with a dimension of 32 into 26 millimeter square. So this is the design of a transmission line fed step match UWB antenna. So parametric study have done. So parametric study of the ground plane. So by wearing this, so what will be the effect? Similarly, the parametric study of a patch length and the patch width and the step length. So by wearing these, so now just design how we optimize. So optimize these things. So the return loss characteristics obtained after the patch and the step parameters are optimized is not exactly followed in the UWB range. So further optimization technique have to be adopted to get impedance bandwidth exactly UWB from 3.1 to 10.6 gigahertz. You want to go in details, then you people have to refer this paper. This paper is available online on International Journal of Scientific and the Engineering Research, right? So this is the, because earlier I have shown the spectrum. So there is a W lane system is also create a problem to this UWB spectrum. So notch ground in a transmission line fed step match UWB antenna design for that. So here we have put this notch, and these are the different E plane and H plane radiation patterns at the different frequencies: 4.5 gigahertz, 6.5 gigahertz, and 10 gigahertz. So far field E plane and H plane radiation pattern of the transmission line fed stepped match UWB antenna with a notch ground at three different frequencies: 4.5, 6.5, and the 10 gigahertz. So this is the result of a transmission line paired step match UWB antenna with a notch. So this is the VSWR, this is the efficiency, this is the gain. All these graph is shown here, and this is the actual fabricated structure. So here these are the comparison of the measured and the simulated parameters is shown here. The lower frequencies, upper frequency is 11.3, and impedance bandwidth is 10.38, and all these. And the next is this is design of a CPW fed step match UWB antenna. This is geometry and optimization return loss. So this is the optimized result. Design on a FR4 substrate. Substrate thickness is 0.8 mm, and dimension of antenna is 32 into 26 mm square. Again, we have done this parametric analysis by varying this patch length and the patch width, the step width, and the step length. So this is the gain and efficiency of a CPW fed step match UWB antenna. Radiation efficiency is a 99.6%. Total antenna efficiency is a 86 to 97.4%, and the gain is 1.4 dB. So here these are the E plane and H plane radiation patterns of that. And after fabrication, so now there is a measurement and simulation comparison is shown here. And all these things are measured with the help of the vector network analyzer. Then design of a there is a this is the measurement in a NQF chamber. So now here nearly omnidirectional radiation pattern is obtained in 4 gigahertz. The main lobe occurs at the direction of a 350 degree, and the frequency of a 7 gigahertz shown in a coplanar radiation pattern. So with the help of these radiation patterns, so now just these are the certain key points is shown here. And because now here we have to design this antenna on a human body. So now here initially this antenna was designed, and then the performance analysis of a CPW fed step match UWB antenna in presence of human arm model. Because this antenna we have to put on the human body. So now here this is the antenna, and this antenna will be touched to the skin. So then skin, then fat, then muscles and bones. So now here these are the certain parameters: bone, muscles, fat, and skin. So thickness of the tissue has been chosen arbitrarily, but dimensions are with the prescribed range. The antenna has been placed at a distance of millimeter from human arm of a size 64 into 52 mm square. So here this again there is a design was done by putting this human arm model. So now here this is the return loss. So here the parametric analysis again. So these are the certain results in radiation patterns with and without arm model. So now what will be the effect on the radiation pattern, because we have to design this antenna for the in presence of the human body actually. So now here the design and development of flexible UWB antenna. So design and development of a flexible UWB antenna, because earlier the antenna we cannot bend that. So that's why in the initial talk now just I am saying, so now according to the requirement we have to choose a substrate. So now here we have to design a flexible UWB, means it means now our substrate should be very thin, so now we can easily bend that. So now here the design on the RT Durite flexible substrate for relatively permittivity 2.2, loss tangent 0.009 at 10 gigahertz, and here structure length is 35, width is 31, ground length is this. So the all parameter is shown here. So then the same procedure, the parametric analysis was done by varying this PL, PW, and all dimensions. And finally, these are the E plane and radiation patterns. E plane and H plane radiation patterns of the design antenna. This is the gain. Gain is between the 1.1 dB to 4.2 dB. This is the efficiency. So the radiation efficiency from 82% to 97.5%. The total antenna efficiency is 62% to 97.2%. So now here the fabricated on RT Durite substrate. So this is the fabricated antenna, and this is the test setup. So this antenna was tested, and these are the comparison of a measured and the simulated result. So now here the testing. So now here you can see this is the testing in presence of a arm, bicep, and thigh. So now here you can see 3 photographs. This is the arm where the antenna is placed on the arm, Here, this is the antenna is placed on the thigh. This is on bicep. So now here they have given a different results, and their comparison is shown here. So how beautifully this antenna is used for the human purpose, human body actually. So here these are the comparison with a without human arm, in proximity to human arm, in proximity to bicep, in proximity to thigh. The maximum shift in a lower frequency is observed with flexible UWB antenna is placed near the human arm. Minimum shift in the lower frequency is observed near to the bicep. But in this condition, the impedance matching get deteriorated, especially in the frequency around 4.5 GHz to 9 GHz. When the flexible UWB antenna is tested near to the thigh, the return loss are less and the 10 dB for the complete UWB range. So now here the RT2 with relatively permittivity 2.2 and loss tangent is this. The thickness of material is 0.127 because flexible. So here we have to bend this antenna. So structure of a conformable UWB antenna for bending radius, because suppose we want to put an antenna on our arms and all these, so our structure have certain radius. So here two types of radius is taken. There is a one radius is 25 mm and another is R2 is 50 mm. Some variation in the impedance matching have been observed if the antenna bending radius is less. So in the parametric study of the 25 mm bending radius has been considered. So now here this is the parametric study with the ground plane and the input step width. Study of the patch length. So here again vary the PL and PWV and all these. So return loss of a flexible antenna, planar and a conformal UWB antenna band and 25 mm radius. So this is the return loss of a flexible UWB antenna and conformal UWB antenna band at the 50 mm. So here this is the total antenna efficiency ranging from 60 to 97.4%. Radiation efficiency graph is shown here. This is the gain. This is the radiation patterns are shown here. So this is the design parameters. So now here you can see the measurement setup. So measurement setup for a conformal UWB antenna. This is we have banded actually. So this antenna is again bent. So here the 50 mm band and here is the 25 mm band. So after bending this, now just taken a measurement. So these are the measure results. Measured return loss by bending 50 mm. This is by bending 25 mm. So now here there is a comparison of flexible UWB antenna and conformal antenna. And now this you want to go in detail, then you people have to refer this paper, analysis of design, structure and performance of a CPW fed UWB antenna in presence of a human arm model, and that is published in a International Journal of Electrical, Robotic and Electronic Communication Engineering Academic Science. So now this is online available. So now just you download them and you people can go in detail. So this is another experimental investigation of the breast phantom for tumor detection using ultra wideband MIMO antenna. So now here this is a cancer tumor detection. So now one of the another antenna we have designed. So now here this is the ultra wideband MIMO antenna, because I have earlier we have discussed in 5G MIMO and all these. So now here these are the phantom in modes. This is a normal phantom. This is single tumor. This is a multiple tumor. So now here all these are designed. So this is the MIMO antenna we designed, and that is a tested. So fabricated and tested. So these are the testing equipments and all these, and these are the result is shown here. So now here evaluation process of a U mass sensor probe. So here this is a initially step 1, this is the step 2, this is step 3, this is the step proposed. So now here this is the antenna and there is a results. So return loss is shown here. So these are the reflection coefficients and S parameters, and you want to go in detail, then you people have to refer this paper. The paper is published in IEEE Sensor Journal, online available. So now just you download this and go in detail. If you have any queries, any difficulty, then you people can mail to me, right? So now here this is the results and all these. So simulated result of a radiation pattern of a UMass probe. So at 3 GHz, 10 GHz and 20 GHz. So result of the radiation pattern with each element in lies at the frequency 3 GHz, 10 GHz, 20 GHz. Obtained result of each element is directional, almost stable. However, result at a low frequency 3 gigahertz are more directional compared to higher frequency 10 gigahertz to 20 gigahertz. So here this is the breast phantom modeling, because before proceed to that we have to model them. So now here this is a rib, tumor, ducts, cleavage, and the adaptive tissues and muscles. So now here we have to put this certain data, because now that these are the fixed data modeling actually, tumor and all these. So phantom are structured in 3D spherical shape and replica of the actual breast, and their permittivity and conductivity are mimicked and based on the different layers of the breast, skin, fat, glandular tissues, and tumors. So we developed the three kinds of phantom for experimental investigation, that is normal phantom, homogeneous phantom with single tumor, and heterogeneous phantom with multiple tumor. So here this is the phantom in mold, and normal phantom, this is single tumor, this is multiple tumor. So homogeneous phantoms is developed using the distilled water, sodium chloride, polyethylene water, agar powder, and propellant, cement, gums, and formalin. In the process of a phantom preparation, agar and propanol are used for maintaining the elasticity, stiffness as a real breast. NaCls and polyethylene are utilized to preserve the permittivity and the conductivity of the phantom. Phantom gums act as a solution thickener, and formalin is needed to sustain the shelf life of the phantom. So cancerous cells are mimicked by inserting glycerin ball inside the dollop breast model. So now here this paper is available on IEEE Sensor Journal. So now just you download this, and this is the experimental setup for a phantom sensor using UMass sensor probe. So variation of the measured reflection parameter of a UMass sensor probe with phantom is shown here. So this is the different parameters, S12, S13, and S14. So this is the PCA result of magnitude of a reflection parameter of a probe with a phantom. So to identify the exact differentiation between normal and malignant phantom, PC analysis carried out on the reflection parameter. So here this is the principal component analysis. Result is shown here, that is the PCA. So the PCA is a statistical unsupervised machine learning method in which complex multi-dimensional data set is converted into two principal components. So here this is a phase analysis of the probe with phantom cube. Result is shown here. So this is a PCA analysis with phase angle of reflection parameters in the normal phantom, single tumor, multiple tumor, so easily detected. So observation data of the simulated maximum and average SAR. So different results are tabulated here. So this is the data is shown for the different elements, average SAR. So in this work, the three phantom, normal, single tumor, and multiple tumor were experimented using UMass sensor. The sensing mechanism is simple with a user comfort and has a wide range of characterization capability of a phantom based on several parameter evaluation. So SAR analysis of the phantom using UMass probe is well distinguished in normal and phantom. So this is the last antenna, the non-invasive microwave multi-element sensor for dielectric characterization of a breast phantom and tumor detection. So here this is a non-invasive microwave multi-element sensor for dielectric characterization of a breast phantom and tumor detection. So this is a phantom for measurement. This is the MMSP sensor probe and evaluation. This is the experimental analysis for tumor detection. So here this is the sensor development method. So here we have designed this 4 elements. So these are the sensing elements. This is substrate, ground plane, SMA connectors. So the prototype is developed on a low dielectric loss at a high frequency, Roger RT 580 substrate with dielectric constant 2.2 and height is 8.2. The proposed sensor is composed with a 4 sensing elements, and there simulated dimension is shown here. And after there are 4 steps. So here these are the steps is shown here. This is step 1, 2, 3, and 4. The entire process is followed to achieve the optimized size and the large fractional bandwidth within the element. And these are the step-wise result of the reflection coefficient of a single element and sensor. Comparison of the simulated and major results of a reflection coefficient and mutual coupling of the sensor is shown here. So this is the radiation pattern. So the simulated radiation pattern of the microwave multi-element sensor MMSE are evaluated at the 2 and 20 gigahertz. Results of the all four sensing element are shown above. These are the results. So all sensing elements of the MEMS have directional and stable parameters. So here this is a development of a phantom model. So hemispherical shape based phantom is mimicked using the dispersive material which has been similar property of biological tissue. So these are the parameters. With the help of that, the phantom model was developed. So the dimension, relatively, permittivity, conductivity of a developed model of the breast are collected in a given table. So here this is the tumor and all these are fabricated phantom is shown here. So experimental setup for phantom analysis. So this antenna was put on this phantom and the so these are the measured S parameters of the MMES sensor with phantom. Difference between the maximum value of a reflection coefficient result. So here these results are shown. So difference between the maximum value of reflection coefficient for normal and malignant phantom can visualize from a given table. So we can easily identify this is without tumor, this is with tumor, with 3 mm tumor, and the difference observed. So we can easily say now there is a cancer tissue is there. So the measured result of a mutual coupling is shown here. This is the principal component analysis. So of the result of the measured reflection coefficient data is shown here. PC analysis, maximum SAR for tumor location. So at this location of the tumor, minimum SAR values for 3 mm, 5 mm, 10 mm. So these are the values 48.6, 47, 47.5 W per kg respectively. So however, the maximum SAR values for the same location are 355.94 kg. So here this is the maximum SAR for tumor locations are a graphical representation shown here. So now here in this particular conclusion, so now in this work, an efficient and low cost modality using MMES is presented for tumor detection inside the dense breast. Conventional sensor probe can be measured, analyze a single parameter of a sample under test. So here sensing probe is offered the wide range of a measurement capability as a compared to the conventional probe. So limitation of the carried out work is exact location of tumor could not be identified by obtained results. So now there is a lot of scope. Now just people are trying to find out the solutions. So the human body parameter can be detected and analysis. So we can easily identify the problems and all these. So definitely in the coming time, they will be very good for the if the people have developed so many technology for the mimicking. So thank you for listening me here. So thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for sparing your valuable time from your busy schedule and enlighten all of us by spreading your knowledge in the field of antenna design and how antennas are useful in IoT and medical diagnosis purpose, being a wireless communication medium. Sir, I personally benefited many a times by listening your valuable words, and I hope that participants has also learned today. Now I ask participant if they have any query regarding this.
Hello. Hemant sir, is I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Yes, Dr.
Sir, very nice presentation. I have learned a lot do this. I have a very little question here only. That India is still waiting for launching of 5G. They have planned for 2022 in first quarter because of there is due to low fiberization footprint because there is no fiber lines somewhere. Even though pricing cost is also high, but in some countries 6G is going on. So can you comment on this? Where we are lagging?
Actually, now this is a government problem and there the stakeholder problem is there. When everything will be settled now, how we allocate the spectrums and the infrastructures and all these, then definitely this will be came out in coming time.
So what you will suggest to the researchers, those who are working in 5G this time?
5G now people have to design the system actually because 5G frequency is fixed, allocation is fixed. So now whatever interest you have to design any component, because we cannot design a whole system actually.
But sir, in
Because we
India,
require large
but in
number of
India, we
engines.
are still striving for the particular band for the 5G, no?
Yeah, because they will allow it actually. Yeah.
Yes, that is what I am asking to you. That if Indian person is trying to create some component for their own country, then how should they start? That's why I need your comment.
You can start from the low frequency and go for the high frequency also, because that's why I have talked about the two frequencies, millimeter and the microwave waves. Because now it will be compatible to the 4G, 5G. So some band will be live in the 4G also, and some is go in the millimeter waves actually. Yeah, so I think the people want to start their work, so they can start from the lower frequency, 5 gigahertz.
That is low sub giga 6
Yeah.
giga.
When they design, then go for the 28, 35, and finally they can reach up to the 100 gigahertz.
Okay. Thank you.
So thank you very much, sir, again for spending your valuable time. Pankaj sir, if you want to felicitate.
Thank you, sir.
So thank you for inviting me here. So now have a nice day. If you have any query, then you people can mail me or contact on phone also. Right?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Have a nice day. Okay.
Pankaj sir, you please let the participant know when next section will start.
Next session will start at 11:45.
Okay.
So we will meet accordingly.
Okay, I hope all of you have enjoyed this expert lecture, and at 11:45 we all will meet again. Thank you.